A text from my coworker, not boss, after I called out of work today due to mental health reasons. Hi friends of r/antiwork, my friends told me to post this here and I'm very new to Reddit so I am not sure if I'm doing any of this right. I, 19F, work at a summer camp and today, I woke up this morning in a terrible mental state and called my boss, in tears, asking for the day off. I apologized profusely and said if I managed to pull my mental health together, I would try to make it in. She was understanding and was extremely kind to me and I thought all was well. About an hour or so after work started, I received this text from my coworker. She wrote, "Hey, I know you're having a bit of a breakdown but we could really use you at camp. So, I have to go back to work on Monday obviously and I'm not entirely sure what due to. I haven't responded to this text, and I have zero intention of going into work today. What do I do on Monday?" For context, I have called out one other time in the past 4 weeks I have been working at this camp. The boss I mention in this story is the camp's assistant director as our director is not here this week. Our actual director is an entirely different story. CEO has added network to my plate during busiest week. I'm great at my job and I generally enjoy what I do. More good days than bad. That said, my job does come with a lot of responsibilities that can create unpredictable increase of workload. This is one of those weeks, it's been a lot. I met with my boss, the CEO, and explained the plan to move some things forward and expressed that I feel overwhelmed. They reassured me that I have their full support, and if I need anything to let them know. Okay, great. Today I wake up to messages of my CEO asking me if I've sent some contracts off to the new clients. Not my clients, not my department, not my responsibility to send contracts. So, I let them know this. They come back to me again asking if I can just update the brand of the document and send it back to them. Now I'm in twilight zone. Again, we have someone at the company whose job this is. All of a sudden the boss went from, "I'll support you because I know you're super busy," to, "Please do all these administrative tasks even though we have people who do these jobs." What the hell is going on? I feel a bit crazy right now. Dismissed for wanting to be put to better use. I spent years in a field of work, teaching ESL, that, unfortunately, was very fulfilling but had no future or possibility for professional development. It is generally very poorly paying and unregulated. I decided to move into any kind of administrative work. I knew it would be entry-level, but I also have lots of skills gained from teaching that could be put to use in many realms of admin. Tons of my job applications were rejected simply because I didn't have the experience and was too specialized in ESL. So because I really needed work, I went the route of recruiting agencies, who found me a placement with a giant corporation. I got week-to-week temp work sitting at a front desk doing very little, but I was grateful to just have some income and to maybe start accumulating admin time for my resume. When you do work through a temp agency, you have to put in a certain amount of hours before the company can hire you, if they want to. So for 5 months I did this very simple and unfulfilling job, paid by the agency, no benefits or proper pay structure. Then the company hired me on, and I still had to go through the typical 3 months of probation despite having been there for 5 months already. Last week I hit my limit with the amount of unchallenging and brain-dead tasks. I wasn't even answering phones. I was mostly sitting there front and center in a big office with zero privacy and maybe, just maybe, securing parking for staff. It started to really take a toll. So I mentioned in an email to my supervisor that I liked the company, but wasn't happy in this office manager, hardly, role, and wouldn't mind a discussion about placing me elsewhere, so I could best be an asset to the company. On Monday, with no prior warning, HR took me aside and told me I was dismissed with just 1 week to go before my probation ended. The only reason they gave me was because I was not a good fit for the role. I'm ready to put my 2WK notice. Can they deny me PTO when I call out before I leave? IWFH for a call center that has 1,000 employees. I'm just a number to them. I'm trying to double dip by using PTO from this job while I work at my new gig. Advice on how to keep going. So I've been working consistently since the age of 16, I've taken a few couple-month breaks since then, but I'm 22 now, and just got a new job after taking a 2-month break from my last job because it was absolute hell and I was burnt out as fuck. This new job has mediocre pay, 50k salary plus commission CAD, and is WFH, a call center type, but they have pretty solid benefits that start at 3 months. I started first week of July. I used to love calling and doing these sorts of sales jobs, I'm really good at them. The problem is that even after that 2-month break I'm still burned out. I haven't been able to find any good resources besides find happiness in your work. Take a break. Do meditation, articles. I have to do something to be able to save up and move out since my husband and I still live at home with my family and tensions have been at a boiling point for years now with them. The job has enough pay and benefits that I can support us enough to do that just barely. The only problem is every morning when I wake up I just want to cry. The worst part is I only have to work here for 6 months because I start school, something I'm actually proud and passionate about, in the winter semester, but we have to move out for me to be close enough to go. Would love some advice or whatever on what to do from here. My bills are stacking up, and really I don't know if I need motivation to just keep going for these 6 months or if I should try to find something that isn't so draining but pays less. Thanks. How does one quit a job without burning the bridge? So I'm currently working a small farm job that I've been working for about 3 years, 2 part-time 1 full. Started in high school, nothing bad to make me quit, and I do love not to burn this bridge, being that I do enjoy the work even though it's long hours and not great pay outside of OT, but I am recognizing it is not career material if I ever want a family that I actually spend time with or make more than 20 and still get OT, so I'm moving the cities with some friends as making it not worth the drive is the only way I can see myself leaving this job. I just need to quit without wrecking the good terms I have with my boss, so if things don't work out I have a job to come back to. I'm planning on telling him soon I am looking for a place and will be quitting, giving him plenty of time to find a replacement. Not the easiest thing to find for a job like this. Is there anything else I can do or any tips to go about the conversation? Anyone else ever work for car dealerships? I have to say that I love the job I'm doing, accounting and titles, but the culture is toxic. Everyone here seems fake and kiss asses. They harp on me about not moving fast enough or point out my mistakes even though some of the issues were there before I started. It feels like I'm being scapegoated. I know my boss doesn't like me and I have a feeling I'm gonna get canned. I'm wondering what other people's experiences are. I just have to rant. I have been denied for an array of jobs in the last 2 months because I won't give them weekends. I can't. I have a life, another job, and coursework to attend to. If you can't work 9 to 5 mf, don't expect to find a job where you won't be forced to work weekends. As soon as talent acquisition sees you're unavailable weekends, it's fuck you. I'm so sick of this. Company decided in last minute to reject me. This is my story that has been going on for the past month and a few days. I applied to become a graphic designer at a German agency that invited me for an interview. The interview was online, everything went great and they gave me a trial assignment. In the end it turned out that it was actually a real-life project. I did that, they were satisfied. Later they give me 2 more projects which are test, and in the meantime they gave me a job offer which I accepted, arranged for a real-life meeting, face-to-face to meet the team, etc. I also did those 2 trial projects that they asked me to do, and in the end, at the last moment, near the end of their working hours, I got an answer that they didn't want to hire me, and all that without any specific reason. The thing when someone puts you down so low that you give up your crappy job and fight and send in applications and start doubting yourself and your abilities even though you graduated college and developed over the years. You ever just know you're not meant to live a regular 9 to 5 life? That you were created for so much more. I'm thankful to have a job, but there's this inkling inside of me that knows this is not the life I'm supposed to be living. We are going to be a generation traumatized by inflation. Let's just imagine that things go back to a nostalgic level of stability. I'm talking financially, politically, ecologically, the whole shebang. And I'm able to meet my current retirement goals, which is possible but a stretch. In retirement I will not be able to mentally relax. My goals were based on making some cutbacks and living a modest but comfortable life. I will now always be worried if I will have enough, if another period of inflation is around the corner. I am still young, not near retirement, but want to work as short and be retired as long as possible. I will never have the level of economic certainty about my future that I had just a few years ago. Science jobs aren't paying nearly enough. If you're considering college, don't go for a bachelor's in science unless it's computer science or engineering, otherwise you'll go thousands in debt for a company that won't pay you anywhere near a decent wage despite making millions of dollars a year. I decided that I had enough at my current job, made $22 hourly, but now make $19 after a pay cut while also expected to do more work, so I've been job searching. Given my degree and a year's worth of experience after just having graduated undergrad last year, I was expecting to find something that could at least match $22. I've applied to work in government jobs as an introductory forensic technician, haven't heard back. In a medical lab as a histology technician, haven't heard back. One job did reach out and asked what I was looking for, so I told them something that at least matched my old job at $22 an hour. But given now I have a year's worth of experience, I'd expect more. Being an analytical chemist should pay a good amount, right? That's a very important job to help the pharmaceutical and chemical industries which we rely on so much. I hear back a whole week later after pestering their HR for an update and was told that I'd need more experience to earn more, and that there are no positions currently able to match my desired wage. The fuck is that? A year's worth of experience in a technical laboratory field where you need a bachelor's degree to even apply for, and you won't even pay me more than a position that doesn't have all these barriers. I could work at Amazon with no qualifications and make $22.50 hourly. I could work at the Apple Store downtown and make $22. More than half of Costco workers actually make $25 or more hourly as of right now. What is it with corporate science jobs being so incredibly stingy when they rely on their severely underpaid and overworked slaves to do the work that gets them millions of dollars in revenue yearly? I'm this close to just applying to anything I can find that can pay me more and treat me better than science jobs. I love science, but I cannot go back to school to further my education at this time because I lack the necessary funding. Anti-work activism. The anti-work collective should become a proactive group of activists. I haven't fleshed out many ideas, but if there were a way to organize us so that we may punish businesses for treating workers poorly, punish landlords for theft, just do any singular thing beyond communicating, and I know that is very important, the worst behaviors of our capitalist jailers. Does anyone have any rough ideas on how to take the first steps? Do we select certain posts where action can be effective and concentrate our energies? Do we begin to organize in an official capacity outside of Reddit? Extra brain thought, what would an anti-work street team do? We could definitely post pro-labor messages everywhere people need to see them. I feel like there is enough resentment and anger to put a little fear into the average abusive businessman. We can't just tell our stories to each other forever without translating potential energy into action, can we? If anyone has any helpful ideas, I'm ready to spend my free time making workplaces respect their workers by cutting out all the middlemen. Fuck politics. It's time for direct action. Should I be getting paid more? I am working as IT help desk support with bachelor's in information technology and about 2 years of IT experience, and I am making about $32,000 a year in Maryland. I stated that to my co-workers and they said that sounds standard. I always felt like that was the case, but I honestly don't have UOC working world experience to know better. Any advice is helpful. Can you please post the salary range to the job info? First of all, I hate these job postings where there is no mention about salary, not even a super wide range, and in the application they ask you how much do you want. I hate that. I never know how much is too much and how much I could realistically ask without pricing myself out. So I applied for this job a while back. They asked how much I want in the application. I put about 50% more than I was making back then. Keep in mind I'm from small town and small town wages are lower than the big cities where the job is, and it is 100% WFH job. I get the job and they just talk about how my wish was along the norm what they pay to someone with my experience. TBH, it just made me feel like I asked too little and could have asked more and still get the job. So the question is there anything I can do in this kind of situation in the future? I have tried to leave that part blank. Worked until the interview where they asked me about it and I asked back how much do they usually pay, not in these words, I'm not native in English, so paraphrasing. They just replied saying something about some random union and how they use that as the base point. I had never even heard about that union. Like yeah, so helpful. I feel like there is literally no winning in here. Either you get it right or you are underpaid, and there in between you just have to switch jobs about trillion times to figure it out. Which sucks because I really like this job, the co-workers are awesome, my team leader is awesome, the owners are awesome, and there are not really that many places that can even compete with the perks I have right now. So yeah. A little bit of rant.